Hello, everyone, and welcome to the special edition of Lady K Speaks. Lady K speaks for the first time tonight, and this is going to be great. We're just here celebrating Women History Month. We're celebrating 10 years of me being in the media, 2 years of the magazine, and it's a wonderful feeling. So, we're just going to continue the journey and give you behind the scenes of Lady K Speaks. And I am so pleased to have with me one of my longtime friends and partner of the media world, and that is Seth Eric Washington. Hi, Seth.
Great to be here, Karen.
Yes, yes, and you know what? And even though this is a special edition of Lady K Speaks, I spoke with you, Seth, and I'm just going to turn it over with you. You did a wonderful interview on me, and we're just going to dive into it a little bit on the first episode of Lady K Speaks. So it's all about you, Seth. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to have my story to be told. I wasn't even thinking about it until you brought it up, so I'm going to just turn the mic on over to you now.
The pleasure was mine. A great conversation that we had. And I think it's a tremendous conversation for the season that we're in, for the position where VMP Community Magazine is at this time,
Yes.
and how you express how we got here, and how you express where we are right now, what this time is, and your vision for where you want to take the magazine. And you expressed all of that with the standard passion and enthusiasm that we know Karen McConnell Jones to have, and inclusive of a lot of faith,
Yes.
as well as strategy, with love for your effort, for your team, and significantly important for the readers of VMP Community Magazine.
Yes.
I think if anyone wanted to know what VMP Magazine is about and why it is important for you as the founder, as well as the editorial force behind the magazine, I think this magazine says it all. This article says it all. Your words is basically what this article is compiled of. Your words, your thoughts, your emotions, your energy. And so I think it's just a dynamic display of what VMP Community Magazine is about, and why it's destined to be one of the legendary media entities that we will know of.
Oh, wow, wow. What can I say behind that? That's a wonderful introduction. Thank you, Sam. That was a lot said. It's just always great when you are just being able to be on a platform and just be in your purpose. You know, if nothing else, most people who know me and just know that I truly believe in, just seeing the vision and living the purpose. And just having like-minded people with me that journey the ride, that are also in their purpose. And I think that's the big part of what makes us so great with the community, what makes us more personable with the community, because we all are in our purpose and we are sharing our gift and talent to our community and just want to represent our community well. And that's what it's about. We just want to just say, hey, we see you, we hear you, we notice you, and we just want to be that positive vehicle for our community. And I know, and we're doing it with excellence. We're putting our community first. So I'm grateful for this moment and grateful for the team that I have.
Well, as a member of your team, I can say that we are thankful for your leadership.
Yes.
We're appreciative of the chance to serve within this area of our gifting,
Yes.
and that it's a wonderful opportunity that continues to unfold.
Yes.
And every year we've grown with responsibilities, and we've grown with our excellence,
Mm-hmm.
and we continue to strive for that excellence.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been a blessed endeavor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you regarding where we are right now, as you say, downtown Largo,
Yes, Prince George's County. Yes.
where the VMP Community Magazine media studios are. And you are from Washington, D.C.,
Mm-hmm.
which is just a few miles from here.
Mm-hmm.
And during the 70s and the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
Prince George's County really began to blossom
Mm-hmm.
as a place for African Americans to thrive. And now it is one of the places in the country for African Americans to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
So what has it been like for you? Because you talk about, your time in Washington in the article,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and how, you eventually came to Prince George's.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What was that transition like for you?
Oh, wow. That's a good question, Seth. The transition for me in Washington, D.C., I was comfortable there because I grew up there. Originally, I'm from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, but when we moved to Washington, we was in D.C., and I grew up in Southeast Washington. That's how I even met Carol Schwartz, because at the time, her and Marion Barry, they used to always come hang in the neighborhood, and just able to just see positive people, whether they was black or white, just come back into our community, saying that you can be someone, Sav. That mean a lot. So when I grew up, I always come from a spirit of just giving. My mom taught us how to be giving back. So to volunteer and work for Marion Barry, and then to just get into the whole DC world. So even when I had my first business, it was storefront downtown DC, 2 blocks from the White House. So and back then in the 90s, black-owned businesses wasn't storefront in downtown Washington, D.C. So that was a very proud
I
moment.
remember that.
Yes, and that was a very proud moment. So now, but by then I was living in Prince George's County, but still working and doing everything in DC. I knew all the politicians in DC. I knew everyone in DC, all the businesses, everyone in DC. But years go by, and I knew no one in Prince George's County. And I was like, wow. And I, even when it came to election time, I can probably tell you better candidates to vote for in D.C. and promote for them more so than I did where I live. And then, and that started to be like, Karen, you have to do, when you know better, you have to do better. So I wanted to come to Prince George's County and just get to know the place where I was living at now. Because at this point, I had been living in Prince George's County probably like 15 years. And 15 years, and I still was such a lover of DC, as far as just knowing and doing everything in my community outreach in DC. So I had to shift gears and say, no, I gotta do it at my home base as well. So and that's when we created the Class Act Community Awards, and I was like, how can I get to know Prince George's faster than they can know me? So, and that's creating opportunity where it invites the community in, and that's what we did. We created the Class Act Community Awards, and I asked people to nominate. So we was nominating the community leaders. We was giving awards to the politicians, and that's how I got to know them. And then I was like, wow. So and now just being here downtown Prince George's County with our headquarters, this is just a great feeling. I know everything I need to know now. We're gonna say what we almost 15 years later, wow. Just think about that. Yeah, 15 to 15. So almost 15 years later, I think we have made a great mark in Prince George's County. People know who Class Act Production is, and people are starting to know Vision and Purpose, our media production company now, all our community outreach that we do here in Prince George's County. And I think I'm more proud of that than anything, is our community outreach that we do here in Prince George's County. So, yeah. Great things.
You certainly are touching lives.
Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think it's tremendous what you do around the holiday season with the toys for the children. The funds you've raised also for mental health,
Yes, yes,
and I know that that means a lot for you
yes,
regarding your sister.
yes, yes.
And what else drives you to serve?
Good question. Saf, you asking all these good questions. What drives me to serve? First, just touching in on my spiritual base. And that's just it. My mother always taught us in order to receive a blessing, you must first be a blessing. And that's the true mission in life. So when you understand that and you grew up with that, then you're going to make sure that part of your life is always going to be about serving. And I would probably say majority of my life is about serving. And it's a good feeling. It's rewarding. It truly is, because even in spite of my challenges, Seth, or whatever I'm going through, when you step outside of your own situation and you still be giving of yourself and give to your community, give your last, give your all, give your everything to your community, it is so rewarding. And it just come back, tenfold. It really does. The blessing come right back, and it just come back in a way that you just can't even imagine. If it's nothing, and the blessing can be that smile that somebody just want to grab me and smile and say thank you. Oh my gosh, it just warmed my heart. I just a big crybaby. It just makes me be full of, tears of joy. So yeah, that's what drives me, just knowing this is what I'm supposed to do, is just make sure I'm being a blessing to others.
So would you say that you are in your lane?
Yes, I am in my lane. I am in my purpose. Yes.
When did you become clear on that? Was there a particular moment when you said, for sure, I'm in the right place?
A particular moment that,
or perhaps a couple of moments that along the way that gave notice to that?
Yes, I would just say most recent, 2 years ago, the beginning of this pandemic. The team and I did not see this coming. We launched this beautiful magazine.
And it is beautiful.
Yes. And we launched.
Shout out to the graphics team.
Yes. And definitely the photographer, Dominique. Oh, she caught the great moment there.
Dominique Massaquoi.
Yes. Yes. And so just I would say the team, we launched this magazine 5 days. Afterwards, the whole world was on shutdown from this pandemic, and we called an emergency meeting. Do we pause because we so new and we doing print at that, or do we go forward? And when the team was like, no, we're going forward.
Let's move.
Let's get the community need us more than ever now. So that was just wonderful, Saf, to hear. That was just confirmation that, of what you just asked me. I knew I was in my lane. I knew it was just time. And that's when I knew for sure that, this is great when you are in your purpose in spite of challenges, that you still going to persevere and make sure it happen. And I know, Sal, this is wonderful, and I am just loving this conversation with you. So we have to take a quick commercial break, and we be right back in conversation with Lady K.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
We are determined. We are divine. We are of greatness. That's right.
And we're back with Lady K Speaks. I'm special guest host Seth Washington here today. Have the pleasure, the honor of interviewing Lady K.
Woohoo.
And Lady K is one of two of the covers of the current issue of VMP Community Magazine. And the other is, of course, the Honorable Carol Schwartz. And someone, Karen, who you have a history with and who you have a great deal of esteem for.
Mm-hmm.
And can you talk a little bit about the Honorable Carol Schwartz?
Yes, if we're going to be celebrating, if I'm celebrating 10 years of being in the media and 2 years of the magazine, what a way to celebrate and to have the Honorable Carol Schwartz to celebrate with me. Like you said, I just call her the Vision and Purpose Community Magazine 1, and I was Vision and Purpose Community Magazine 2. So Carol Schwartz is just a firecracker that we all love. When I say that, firecracker in a great spirit, it's only a few women that I call that that's out there that's doing community work, and Carol Schwartz is one of them. And everybody know I love State Delegate Jocelyn Pennant Melick. I always say her name, but she
Jocelyn Pena Melnick.
Yeah, I did. Okay, I said I was close, Jocelyn. You'll be proud of me. So that is my firecracker. But Carol Schwartz, she just did it for me, and at that time to be, and she'll tell you herself, go ahead and say it, Karen, a white woman, a Republican in a black neighborhood. I was like, yeah, pretty much, to see that at 5 years old, and telling me that I can be somebody, that was powerful. South, and I think, where I know now, Carol come from a place where she'll tell you her family was poor and, they didn't have a lot, and people think that she was born with the silver spoon in her mouth, but she wasn't. She come from humble beginnings just like I have, so it was important for her to go back and let children and the youth believe that they can be someone, because, she'll tell you that she struggled even with that, her confidence for a while, and it was the women that worked with her saw the greatness in her and pushed her to run for school board. Was her first taste of it, and then she ended up sitting on the council, the at-large seat in D.C. for 4 terms, and that's very impressive. So I am just honored to be celebrating with her. I'm just very honored. And we've been great friends over the years. I never forget when she met me later as a teen, and I told her the story about what she did for me as a 5-year-old child. She gave me her number, and it never changed. She was like, I want you to have my number. Don't you give it away. Don't you give it to nobody, and you just keep in touch with me. And I did. That's what I did over the years. So I thought it was perfect timing. I don't infringe on my relationships that I have with politicians and everything, but I thought it was a great honor to ask her to celebrate 10 years with me. Yes, and even with Jesse Jackson, I was personal stylist with Jesse Jackson for years and worked with Marion Barry for years, and we was talking about this. I talked somewhat of them, and people don't even realize how they both loved to ball. They was ballers. Straight up knew how to play some basketball. You hear me?
That's interesting you mentioned that, because
yes.
Now we were talking about, you mentioned that recently when we were speaking on that.
Yes.
And so I came across a photo that I've intended to share with you. It was on Facebook, and there's Marion Barry in his shirt and tie and slacks and shoes, and there's Jesse Jackson in his shirt and tie, slacks and shoes, and they are playing basketball in Potomac Gardens, Southeast Washington, D.C., somewhere around maybe 1981.
See?
So I'm going to send that picture to you.
Oh, wow. You got to, Sam, because, I was like, wow, and that just let you know that they are just human beings, just real human beings that have a love for their community, and that was
And they were balling.
Yeah.
Jesse Jackson is going up for the layup, and Marion Barry was trying to play defense.
I'm telling you, and got moves, Sam, like...
I can believe it.
Like
Yeah.
whoosh, got to do that wrist now.
Right.
I mean, and like you probably said, I can see it right now in slats and ties. Still got the swoosh
Yes.
going on. So, that was inspiring to me as well. Saf, if I look back over my just media career and career outside of media, I have a wonderful life. I had a lot of influence around me, and I'm grateful for each and every one of them.
So being here at Vision and Purpose Magazine, Community Magazine, watching you make connections and watching the connections that you have made, you have a great deal of engagement with political figures in Washington, D.C., as well as Prince George's County, Maryland.
Yes.
So have you yourself thought about running for a political office at some point?
You asked some good questions tonight. Yes. That question has, believe it or not, been posed to me so many times. Like, Karen, why don't you run for office? Thought about it one time, maybe running for mayor of District Heights, where I lived at, and then I thought, you know what? I'm in a safe place right here, and if I can just be real and transparent, I can do more for my community in this position than I can the other position of being a political figure. It takes all to represent the political figure and want to put up that fight. And Carol, that's one thing I admired about her. She was willing to put up that fight, and that's probably why she lost her last term, is because it's a fight to put a bill into action, for the betterment of her community and not for the betterment of what politics said to her. So I don't do politics well. Now, I do my community very well, but I don't do politics well. So I'm going to leave it right there. I'm not going to do the politics dance, when it's something I truly believe in. But I respect every one leader that's in that position and representing their community well, because like I said, I love Jocelyn, I love Carol Swartz, I love everything that they represent, because they don't do politics. They don't do the politics dance, they do the community dance, and that's what I love about them.
Okay, well, I appreciate that answer. And that really makes sense with the things that you do and the way you like to do them with a certain savoir-faire.
Oh, that sounds so nice.
In that Karen McConnell Jones way.
Yes, yeah.
But now I'm not going to let you off the political hook that easy.
Okay.
So for the sake of this conversation,
Okay, yeah.
you are the governor-elect of Maryland. Okay?
He put me in a big seat. Okay,
Yes.
I love it. Okay, I'm visualizing that. Okay.
What's the first major change that you are going to attempt to make on behalf of the state of Maryland, which is where we are at this time?
Seth, if you don't get out of here with all these big questions, okay.
Because you have a heart
Yes.
for the community.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so where would that heart lead you, Governor McConnell Jones?
I would definitely have to say I would have to continue on to health care. That would be one of the biggest thing I would tackle, and I know I would have a fight and a half up against me. But health care is just everything.
Well, that's a big thing.
Yes.
Now, what area specifically do you think you
I
look
would
at?
definitely would say to still have to make that fight for affordable health care. Affordable health care, because, health care is just everything. When people are not able to go to a doctor when they know something is physically wrong with them or even mentally wrong with them, and I'm even going to stay right there because, mental health is a big thing for me too. And the struggle of a lot of us being sicker than what we are because we cannot afford to go to have medical care. That's just I cannot even imagine that. Like in certain parts of Canada, that's why they live longer than we do, because health care is free. So they can just go, and they live healthier life because they don't have to worry about this big bill at the end, because, once they do see us, you can't turn them one away if they technically come to get medical service, but then how are they going to pay for that big bill? If they don't have medical care, they sitting up here probably making minimum wage, and then they have a family that they need to support, and then you're going to give them bad credit because they can't afford to pay a health bill. Do you know how that hinders a family? So for me, I definitely would say my biggest fight will continue the affordable health care. We have to continue that fight. Yeah, because I mean, it's too many good families out here that's just not in a position to move forward because they don't have health care, and now they have the big expense of paying the bill back in bad credit.
Right. It's not a win-win.
No,
I don't want to say it's a lose-lose, but it's certainly not a win-win.
no, it's a tough situation to be
Yes,
in.
yes.
Yes, yes.
And I think also it's a situation where when you reflect on, as you said, other places that have universal health care, then I wonder, is the current setup and with the debt that you mentioned that comes with that, is that the quick money? And on the other side of universal health care, would that bring more money in the long term with people being able to live more effectively? I just wonder about that, and because the other thing I want to ask you then, coming back to you being a media founder, do you feel any sense of being able to lobby public understanding about a better way to look at business? Because businesses are in business to make money. And one of the things that you mentioned about that is ways that they make money, or ways that they go about legitimizing how they do business. But now, if there's a better way, how do we in media help them to understand that?
Wow, that's big questions tonight. What is our responsibility, first of all, to businesses, and even with me, with being in media and having a business, I definitely think that it's important that we network and engage each other businesses, especially, and I have to go there in the Black community. We gotta understand the power business and just the dollar exchange in our own community and our own business to strengthen our businesses and keeping us to continue to grow. And that's as media, also to be able to use our voice to make that message clear. That's what we need to be doing, is the power of the business, network exchange. We gotta get into that more and understand that is the way that we grow. That's the way that we sustain.
That's good information, Karen.
Yes, thank you.
I want to continue a little bit more with that when we come back.
Yes, yes.
Lady K Speaks will return with more from Karen McConnell Jones. Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome back to Lady K Speaks. Now, this is the after show. So we're going to give you about a good 5-6 minutes of the after show, Sav. How about
Sounds
that?
good.
We was having so much fun, we didn't know it was the end. So I was like, Sav, you and your big questions. Oh my gosh, the show just went so well. Lady K Speaks, I am just thrilled to be in this moment. So, Sav, we was just talking just that quick, and we was like, nah, let's give them a little bit more.
Little bit
so
more.
just a little bit more. So thank you to the engineer team back there, Isaiah. You're
Yes.
doing a wonderful job. So we're gonna give you a little after show. What the after show should be like? It should be me asking Saf a question. How about that?
Oh,
Saf,
okay.
can I ask you a question?
Of course.
So, I have to tell this story about us. We was out at the restaurant eating, and you was like, my next story, I'm going to do a story on this this person just opened up a media company in Lago. And I remember saying, what, really? And you was like, yes, it's a woman at that. I was like, a woman? Oh my God. Well, who is she? What is her name? And you was like, you. And I'm sitting here having lunch. I went dinner with her, and I had no clue and no idea that you wanted to write this story on me. Why me? And why now at this time?
Well, I can't think of a better time. This is going into the 3rd year, and there's been some transitions, and of course, inclusive of the pandemic, where we started out, the very first launch was in person. And then after that, everything else has been virtual, except for, the more recent launches. And so adjusting to that, and really it kind of being a good trial for us.
Yes.
So now coming through all of that, and being in this year 2022, the change of the political environment brought us to a place where it was really time to hear from you, Karen, and to get a sense of what time and what temperature that you see and feel that it is, regarding things, regarding you, and regarding BNP Media. And you provide it like gangbusters.
I love that. Yes, and Saf, if I can just even share with everyone, I know I love the page to page is what you're doing now. And one thing I always say about this team, we are made up of so many gifts and talents. We all have our gifts, our talents, our lanes that we are exploring. And Saf has always, from day one, and we've been knowing each other for over 10 years now.
Yes.
Been the voice, you are the vocal artist. And I'm loving the fact that you're going to be launching a book this year, and you're doing your page to page on Facebook, and what a great title. And what inspired you to do this? Was it because you was writing this book and you thought page to page would be a good time to do it leading up to the book release? Because I'm telling you, that was smart, that was brilliant on your behalf. I love it.
Thank you. Essentially, yes, I had the idea to do this platform some years ago, not long after I got on Facebook back in 2009, but I didn't have something to really correlate it to push it.
Right.
And so as I'm preparing to release my book, Orations of Light, later this year on August 1st, I thought that would be a good way to coincide with using the platform of Page to Page to talk with other authors and to other people who are involved in the bookmaking process, like editors, publishers, and so forth. Hope to get you on soon, so we can talk more about some of your projects within the book publishing realm. And so it's been great. We just did our 10th session, and we're on every other Thursday at 7:30 on my Facebook page at Seth Washington Voice, and it's been going great.
Well, that's great. I cannot wait till your book to come out, and we will be doing the book release somewhere in this studio here. I
Looking
know.
forward to that.
Yes, and I know you're going to be traveling with it because you're artist to your heart, and I know doors are going to be open for you to come and share your work. And so,
Well, I thank you for mentioning that.
Yes. No, we cannot be on Lady K Speaks and not, give them an after show. This is the behind the scenes, the after show.
Okay.
So, the after show got to be about the artists that's sitting here with me because you're doing some fine work yourself, So I just wanted to take the moment to let people know what South Washington up to. How
Very
about
much
that?
appreciated, Karen.
Yes. So I'm going to let that fine voice take us out.
This is the after show. Lady K Speaks. Seth Washington here with the pleasure of interviewing Lady K herself, the one and only Karen McConnell Jones. Karen, it has been a pleasure.
Yes, it has been a delight. Thank you.
Please pick up a copy of this issue of VMP Community Magazine with Karen McConnell Jones on the cover.
Yes. And you can go there and find it at VNANDP at mediaproductions.com. So VMPmediaproductions.com. You can go to our website and buy this edition, or you can buy Carol Swartz edition. Again, go to our website, which is www.v as in vision and spelled out ANDP mediaproductions.com. Yes. How about that?
Awesome and excellent.
Yes, and we'll see Saf back here in August for his book release. Yes, stay tuned. More Lady K Speaks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.